here. It has rained for the last 4 days. I mean, not just a soft, steady rain. It has rained downpours. Chilly here. Been down to 32 degrees, so it's been down to freezing. That's why we don't put things out in the ground here in April. Eggs are a little muddy, some of them here. And that's not because where they lay is not clean, because you can see where they lay is clean. It's because when these chickens lay eggs, they scratch around there. And they'll scratch on the eggs. And their little feet are dirty from the outside pen. And it gets their nesting box is dirty. You can see the eggs are dirty. They're muddy today. Most of them. There's a couple of clean ones in there. Everything is greening up. It is turning green. Some of the blooms are gone. The birds are singing this morning. Still got their cute little peaches all over the peach tree. I'm just tickled to death with these. So delighted to see these little peaches all over this little tree this year. Thought I'd let you check on the seeds. This is the egg carton right here. Those tomatoes are really coming up. Now it's rained a lot outside of this greenhouse, but it's still warm and toasty in this little tiny greenhouse that I've got the seeds in here. I've got to spray every day. I've got rainwater I collected in here. You can see these are sagging just a little bit. See, what are these? Pickling cucumbers here on the end. They're drooping just a little bit. They need some more water. Some of these are not doing good because it's so shallow in these little eggshells. Toilet paper rings were doing okay, but it looks like some of these have dried up too. I just can't keep them watered enough in these things that I tried there. So if you use the eggshells as seed starting containers or the toilet paper rolls, you'll be sure to need to water those more often. The zucchinis are doing great. The tomatoes are starting to come up into the forms. Now you want to be careful using those forms because we left some out that we hadn't planted over there on the potting table, and when all the rain came it just washed them completely away. They're just potting soil in that box now because the forms won't hold up to a lot of water or a lot of water pressure. So you want to be sure and make sure that you have a lot of forms. If you want to grow in them, you want to put them where they won't get soaked with water and wash them away. You want to be sure. That's why I'm watering them with this spray bottle right here. See, the tomatoes are coming up really good. Haven't planted anything in this yet. I took this clear deli lid that I had right here, and I went ahead and set these egg cartons down in it so that they can hold a little bit more water. I'm thinking these are needing more water. I'll go ahead and repot some more seeds into these containers here that didn't make it. I don't know if it's that the seeds were not viable or if it just wasn't wet enough for them, but I'll give those a second chance. I'll water these with the dishwashing liquid bottle that I fill up with the rainwater and give them a little more water. Water's a key right now in keeping these seeds started. You don't want them too wet, but you can't let them dry out. If you do, you won't have seedlings. Now I've got holes punched in the bottom for this so they drain really well. These are looking good. I am going to plant more seeds. More in the making here. But I've just got to get some of this stuff. I think I'm going to shift these around here, kind of even out the light from this little greenhouse. It gets plenty of light, but some get more than others. I want the top layer to get plenty of light and the second layer. So I just moved these around a little bit so the light can get through in certain areas and they can get light down here. Want to make sure everything's got enough bright light. Of course, when it's out here on the deck, there's plenty of sunshine. It does a whole lot better out here for me than it does on grow lights. That's the reason I don't even work with grow lights, because I have a long growing season here. I'm in zone 7, doing good here, able to grow about anything that I want to grow. And I just want to make sure everything has the best light, the best water, the best start it can possibly get before we move it to the garden. Showed you last time the seeds growing here. I mean the roots. You can see the roots growing right here through those forms. Want to make sure that those don't dry out. Oh, it's such an exciting time of the year to get seeds started. I so love it. I love to start the seeds. I love to see everything growing. I love to plan what I'm going to plant. It's just a real thrill for me as a gardener to get excited about the little gardens that we have. You know, you don't have to have a big space to have a beautiful, wonderful garden. You'll be amazed at how much you can grow in just a little space. I'll have further tips and hints and things that you can use later for small gardening. Even gardening in containers is coming up. So y'all stay tuned with this channel for that. There's some good gardening tips from experience here. I've got more than 45 years of experience in gardening, growing plants. I love it. It's one of the things I love to share. And I'll be glad to share with you what I know. Maybe there'll be something in there you hadn't thought about in a while. I'm sure there's not anything new. I'm sure other people know just as much as I know, but I want to share with you what I know. So continue to hang in there with me, and I'll be sharing some of that stuff with you. This is an update on the seeds here, and I want to take you out in front and show you some of our garden work day. These are my dirty eggs I collected this morning. Starting to get a lot of eggs, and that's good because I'm using a lot of egg recipes, and I'm going to use these up. Now the front yard is just popping with all kinds of new growth, all new blooms and different flowers and things are out here today. I've got bluebells just blooming like crazy. These are the rose bushes. You can see they are loaded with buds. All these will be busting out with red blooms right here soon. You can see the bluebells, and they are particularly beautiful since the rain. This is their little area of the garden, and they are beautiful. Love the color of them. And they look great this year. Bird baths are full of rainwater. Got those irises, and they are purple. You know, I couldn't remember if they were purple or white. They are purple. Here are the next batch that are going to bloom, and I have to see if they're the white ones. I may have given the white ones away. At one point, I tried to have a red, white, and blue garden out here, but I could not coordinate it for everything to bloom at the same time so that it would look red, white, and blue. I wanted it to match the house. I wanted to have red, white, and blue out here, but that garden plan didn't work for me, so I just kind of moved away from it. And so I may have gotten rid of those white irises. I think I gave them to my daughter. I did give away some of those things that were not blooming at the right time for me. The purple irises would bloom first, and then the white ones would bloom, and nothing would bloom at the same time, so that I had the coordinated look that I wanted. So here are the new irises over here on this side, along with the beautiful bluebells, and of course all of the beautiful green growth on those roses that I've worked so hard to save from black spot. Had a lot of rain, been 4 days of pouring rain. Couldn't really get out here in the last few days, so wasn't much I could do to help anything. There's a few little spots of black spot I will be removing later on when it dries up a little bit. not quite as chilly, I'll come out here and work on these some more. There are some bluebells in here. And the red roses are starting to bud out. They've lots of buds on them. They will pop out and they will be beautiful red roses right here. They'll just be covered, dripping in roses. And I'm looking forward to that. I do have to trellis them a little better. They're hanging over the sidewalk there and making it kind of hard to walk up the sidewalk. So I have to do that, and I hate to do that before they bloom. So I'm going to wait until after they bloom. Just going to let these rose bushes drip down and have their show this spring. They'll look good against the blue and white house, and I'm looking forward to that. There's some patches of echinacea coming up out here. I see 2 patches. This is an echinacea garden. I usually have more. My lemon balm is spreading a little more than I want it to. I want to keep this patch and this patch over by the rocks, and these right here I'll be moving out because it'll cover up some other things that I've got blooming out here that I don't want to cover out my echinacea. Gotta have the echinacea. Here is some clematis coming up on this side. I've got a little patch of clematis here. It does not have a trellis. I need to get it one. It's the light lavender. I have got to figure out some place to put these beautiful hostas that I have right here. I may put those in a container. I'm not sure. I haven't had just free time to think about what all I'm going to do in the gardens this year. I've been pulled in a lot of different directions, but of course I feel the call to get out here and go ahead and start doing the things I need to do. The clematis are looking good. They're growing up. There are 2 little trellises here, and there are buds on them, so we'll have beautiful blooms before we know it. Those are the Nellie Moser clematis. And so I have quite a few of those. Those are my favorite. I have 3 good stands of those going right now. This is the peace rose. So there are buds on the peace rose. This rose is beautiful. I did cut it severely back this year because it was just growing to the top of the house, and there was no way I could manage it. I couldn't treat it. I couldn't deadhead it. There was nothing I could do, so I cut it back drastically this year, and it looks like it's going to do just fine. I've yet to fertilize anything or put any new compost on anything yet. The fig bush is looking good. I think I've shared that with you before. Little figs all over the little fig bush. You know, I make my homemade fig Newtons, and I've been touting to make that and share it with you. I do have some bought fig jam that I can use, and I am going to do that when I can, so look forward to that. That's coming up in the future. And here are the little figs just all over this new little fig bush that we planted year before last. Didn't get any figs off of it last year. That was okay, but we're going to get some this year. The peonies are just popping out, got little buds all over them. Peonies are beautiful. Here is the clematis that's growing back here, and Donald did move this trellis right here so that these clematis could grow up this trellis, but they don't understand they're supposed to grow up with it, grow up on it yet. This one right here, this part of the little clematis that's planted back here, he understands the assignment. He is growing right here, so he's heading his way on up this trellis, and he's doing a good thing. There's some raspberry brambles in here. We've got raspberries planted nearby, and of course the birds have dropped some seeds in this garden, so we've got some raspberry brambles in here. We will either move those or completely remove them out of the garden. These irises are spent on this side. They've come and gone. Now it got up to 32 degrees. Over here's the echinacea. I try to spread things out so that if something happens to one of the plants, then there's a means for it to still continue to grow. I moved comfrey over here this year, and now I've got comfrey. I want that in my garden. I use that every year. There's a clump of echinacea right over here. Love to make tea out of that. Love to drink the echinacea tea when there's an issue that I need immune support for. I do drink the elderberry syrup for immune support, but sometimes a double whammy is needed. So I'll drink elderberry syrup, and then I'll have echinacea tea, and that helps with any kind of sickness that you might get. Now, there are things that's been done out here. I've deadheaded a few things, and I've got to take these out. I left these up all year just for the wildlife, for the insects, and for the birds at the beginning of the year to have something to snack on. Here is the money tree my friend gave me. Still blooming despite all the rain and the cold weather. We had 3 days that was down to 32 degrees, which is freezing, so it's been a little bit of rough weather. But we're recovering from that now. Me and Donald did get out and do a work day. I made a video out of that, had problems with that video, so had to take it down. Was not able to leave that up. Got to do the 10 minutes of weeding, especially after a rain. If you can do 10 minutes a day to get rid of unwanted plants, you know, I hesitate to call anything a weed, but if you want to get rid of unwanted plants in your garden, just 10 minutes a day of pulling. And especially after it rains. Look how much root come up with that dandelion. You know, I'll be saving that, washing that up, and using it. Not so crazy about the purple dead nettle, even though it has all of its healthy properties and all it's edible and all good things. I don't particularly use the purple dead nettle, but I will save this beautiful dandelion. Now here you go. You got all this work we've done in here that I hadn't shared with you, I don't think. We did get the lacy elderberry cut back. Donald had to cut back a tremendous amount of this, and you can see how big the cuts were that he made trying to save this lacy elderberry. Not sure, this is the first year we've ever cut it back. Not sure why we had trouble with the lacy elderberry this year. It's usually about 4 feet tall, has that beautiful lime green color, and it just looks beautiful in the garden. This year it's smaller, but I am trying to save it. I do not want to lose that elderberry, but if I lose that elderberry, I'm going to put another one in here. That's how much I enjoy it being here. The Camellia sinensis, our tea bushes right here that I planted last year, they seem to have come through the winter pretty good. They're looking good. I put a little bit of top dressing of just fresh garden soil around these, and I probably will add some compost in the next few days. They're looking good right here where they're at. We got that rosemary that was dead. You know, a lot of it had died back. We got all of the dead cut back, and we just left the green leaves on the rosemary. There are several groupings of echinacea coming up in this garden. This here is one of them. We have one right here, here, and here. So there's 4 bunches. There was more than that planted in this garden, but it looks like those 3 bunches, or four clusters, are the only echinacea that's going to come back this year. I think I've lost maybe 2 clusters out here, and that very well could have been to the dry season. We had an extremely dry season last year. In the beginning of the growing season, it was really dry, hot and dry. Got up to a few days that were over 100 degrees, and then when the rain did come, it came all at once, and so that presented some problems for our garden. You know, some things evidently dried out and then got too much rain later. But that's okay. That's how some seasons are. You never have the same season constantly, so the plants have to adapt, and I have to be able to maintain and manage them during the seasons when it's a little more work. Donald did want to trim back this camellia, but I wanted to wait until after I got new growth, because I want to take some of the new growth sections and I want to propagate those. I would like to have at least 2 more of this particular camellia. It's been a beautiful camellia, great. It blooms, it's still blooming. This might be the very last of the blooming for sure, but as you can see, there are still some blooms right here. New things budding out. So we'll just have to see how much of this we cut back. I don't want it to be severely cut back, but it might need it. I'll do a little more research on that and take care of this thing accordingly. But it couldn't have provided more. I mean, it just bloomed so many months this past year. It's been a wonderful, wonderful specimen of a camellia plant. My friend gave me this cutting from her camellia plant, and I need to make several more cuttings. The ones I have done in the past I gave away, but I want to get at least 2 more camellias started. I'd love to put one in the backyard and then move another one to a different area of the garden here in front. So I'll be doing that soon. So many beautiful things to come out here in this garden. I'll have to move my little reindeer to the back, I guess, and save him for next year if I can. My friends made me that. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Jeff, for thinking about me. We have enjoyed our little reindeer. I still did not get all of the weeds weeded from around this. I wanted to share that with you, that I got this all done, but it started to rain and I did not get it done. And it has rained for the last 4 days, and not just a sprinkling. It's been a flooding rain for the last 4 days. Now, Donald and I did get a tremendous amount cut. We had a whole 4-foot stack of limbs and cuttings and things that came out from the garden as we trimmed it up at the side of the road. And luckily, well, we pay city and county taxes, so we have a pickup. They will pick up our limbs and cuttings from our trees. They won't pick up anything that's commercially done, but they will pick up any trimmings that we do ourselves. And so we take full advantage of that we pay for here in the city, and we pile up our little cuttings and all of our things that we need to get rid of, and they take it away for us. The knockout rose, it's going to start busting out here. It's got some blooms and stuff all over it, so I'm looking forward to that. That's a beautiful rose. Glad that we moved that out from beside of the house out to a little further away so that it can grow. It has got big, and Donald did trim it back last year, so it's got a lot of new growth on it this year. I'm looking forward to that busting out and being beautiful, and me sharing many things with you. Now, that beautiful wisteria and red bud, well, those blooming days are coming to an end. Very few blooms on it anymore now. It has just turned to the green leaves. These trees are taking its energy to put into the leaves, and of course that gives us privacy and shade here, and we're very thankful for that. Also, Donald does need to trim up some limbs on these red buds. You can see there are 2 that have died right here, these 2 right here, but he did not get out the chainsaw, and he will be doing that'll be the next thing we're going to be doing, is the chainsaw work to cut back some of this stuff. We don't want this to hang over the neighbors and be a nuisance. There are buds as far as we can see. So every bud will be a flower, and that thing will be covered in flowers. I've got to be sure and fertilize it this year. Our neighbor's dogwoods are beautiful. You can see the dogwoods in the neighborhood. Those are beautiful. So we're enjoying those beautiful flowering plants. The azaleas over here in the neighborhood. Got a little more trimming up to do over here, the lelands. We planted those lelands probably when they were 3 feet tall, and look how big and tall and beautiful they are now. Of course, they're losing their bottom limbs, and so they're changing a little bit. We planted those for privacy. Living in our neighborhood, there are houses all the way around us, so to get a break and some privacy, you had to plant things, and so we've been able to do that. Things have come. We may put an understory bush up under it to fill in that gap and continue our privacy. We have got plans to make a new potting table over there. The one my son made for me, the potting table he made, is he made that out of pallets, recycled material, and I've used it for a good 3 years or maybe more. Probably about 5 years actually. I've had that potting table and it's done well. But it's dilapidating. It's giving in to the weather there, and so me and Donald have to build a new one. because I do a lot of work over there in that little section repotting. It's just a little hub center that I go to when I'm out here in the garden, and so I do find that necessary, so we'll be doing that very, very soon. Rebuilding a potting table so I can get some flower seeds and things started out here in the front. Thank you for joining me today and let me share with you things that's going on here. I hope you're having a wonderful day at wherever you're at, and I hope that this inspires you somehow to continue, and encourage you to get out and garden some, no matter how small your space is. I'm always glad that you come and spend the time with me. I appreciate you. This wouldn't work without you. Thank you for coming. Like always, until next time,